For the next 2 weeks, we are going to be getting the Ultra Beast Nihilego in raid battles, and you do not want to miss out on this particular Pokemon. I'm going to be telling you how you can easily defeat this boss with the least number of trainers as possible, so let's roll the intro and get right into it. Alright, let's talk about Nihilego. So this Pokemon is one of the Ultra Beasts that is a must-have. And the reason for that is because it is currently the absolute best poison type attacker in the game. This is of course without counting Mega Evolutions and Shadow Pokemon, but it is actually really strong, so you do want to make sure you have this Pokemon in your collection. Now, defeating Nihilego is actually pretty easy. You do not need a whole bunch of trainers, and the reason for that is because it does have a double weakness to a particular type. In order to best understand this, let's actually go over all the details of this Pokemon. Alright, so Nihilego is a rock and poison type Ultra Beast Pokemon. That means it's going to have a double weakness to ground type attacks. It is also going to have a regular weakness to Psychic, Steel, and Water, but I highly suggest you top load your team with as many ground types as possible. In terms of the resistances, you will want to avoid bringing any poison type attacks, bug type attacks, fairy type attacks, fire type attacks, flying type attacks, and normal type attacks. Nihilego is going to take reduced damage from all of these types. Now, if you're looking for the perfect IVs of Nihilego, you will want one that is 2256 or 2829 if it is weather boosted. And of course, Nihilego is going to be weather boosted by partly cloudy weather and cloudy weather. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want a boosted Nihilego, just go for it when you see any kind of cloud cover in your area. Now, the good thing about Nihilego is that it is super easy to defeat. If you want to secure a win against Nihilego, you will just need 5 trainers in total at least level 35. And if you want to challenge yourself, you could do it with just 2 or 3 trainers in the lobby. Just make sure all of you are bringing ground types, and of course, make sure both of you are at least level 40 and all of your Pokemon are level 40, and you have all the different kinds of damage boosts at your disposal. Now, let's go over the counters for Nihilego. Considering that it has a double weakness to ground types, it's going to be pretty straightforward. You will want to go with your best ground types. That includes Primal Groudon, Mega Swampert, Shadow Mamoswine with ground type attacks, Groudon, Excadrill, and Landora's Terrian form. Now, considering that these are mostly legendaries and shadow Pokemon, it's going to be really pricey getting a bunch of these maxed out. So you could also consider bringing some of these budget counters. They include Mega Alakazam along with Mega Swampert, Excadrill, Garchomp, and regular Mamoswine with ground type attacks. Make sure all of your Pokemon are running ground type attacks. Don't go with a Primal Groudon with Fire Punch, you will want one with Earthquake or Precipice Blades. Same goes for Shadow Mamoswine and regular Mamoswine. Make sure you're bringing them with high horsepower. Overall, Nihilego is one of the easier legendary / Ultra Beast raid bosses currently in the game, but its impact on the gameplay is actually something you should not ignore. Considering that it is the absolute best non-mega poison type currently in the game, you will want to make sure you get one with really high IVs. This is going to be one of those raid bosses that you actually need to prioritize. It's not necessarily going to be just a collector's item. You will actually want to go for the high IVs of this Pokemon. It's definitely going to make your gameplay feel a lot better, especially against raid bosses that are weak against poison types, like the Tapu legendaries, Xerneas, and Zacian. Nihilego is considered a top counter to most of those legendary Pokemon, and there's not necessarily that many other options, so make sure you do not miss out on getting a high IV Nihilego. It's definitely going to be something that will be useful. It will be around for about 2 weeks, so that means it's going to have 2 different raid hours, so make sure you utilize both of those raid hours because you will want to get yourself a high IV Nihilego, as well as the candies and XL candies for this Pokemon as well. Alright, there you have it. These were all the details for how you could defeat Nihilego. Now, something to keep in mind is that the shiny form of Nihilego is now released into Pokémon GO. And considering how meta this Pokemon is for raid battles and even PvP in some situations, you will want to get a bunch of the shiny form because I'm pretty sure a lot of players will be requesting it in lucky trades. Now, of course, if you want a shiny Nihilego, you will need to do plenty of raids because the shiny raid is going to be 1 in 20, which which is the base rate for legendaries and Ultra Beasts with a shiny form. Definitely do as many raids as you can, and if you can afford it, do a bunch of remote raids as you can. This is definitely going to be one Pokemon you will want to farm up, especially because of how powerful it can be for raid battles. There's not a lot of raid viable Pokemon that has the poison typing, and Nihil Lego is definitely a step above the rest. So try to get yourself a 100% IV of this Pokemon, and it will be worth dedicating all the resources to maxing it out. But yeah, that's going to be it for this raid guide video. Now, if there was a tip that I completely missed, make sure you share it down below in the comments so that we can have a great discussion about Nihil Lego. And if you ended up enjoying this video and found it to be helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support this channel in any way, big or small, then do consider checking out the links in the description below. For all my patrons, they get a permanent spot on my in-game friends list. So if you want to interact with me in some way within Pokemon GO, like with remote raids, then do consider joining me on Patreon. And yeah, that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.